The successive timeline also includes July 4th, 1776, as the Constitution of America. From my conception around the middle of the fourth month, 1967, my father was murdered in 1967, 1968. The theft, not only we three, because my mother probably got a little bit of dollars too, even though she was a non, like birth and life physicality. She's come back with the resurrection, is forgiven. But also, Jesus God Christ, the public aspect of theft from we four and everybody, you could say like an, F4, like share, SHARE, like shares Jesus God Christ publicly as the one and only Jesus God Christ, the one and only, God, Jesus God Christ. But that was theft that was stolen from my, like, Jesus God Christ, my father, Mr. and Mrs. Philip John, Mr. and Mrs. Philip John 1, such Jane, and me. So succession was the my father's murder, the theft. Then my forced infringed, like somebody infringed upon we four again, such we the people, with an assistant accusatory name change from like to Philip Marks, which we myself never agreed, never. So I'm trying to think whom even would come up with something like that to change my name from Philip John Jr. like Philip John II to Philip Marks, like who would even like solicit such. Yet that was never agreed to. That was never even reasonable to begin with. I mean, the public aspect, the reasonable aspect, like the lawful reasonable aspect to change my name, it was not. I mean, even the Constitution, like the Fourth Freedoms, that's not reasonable, and especially with F5, whichever the fuck they did. Then from there, and then the second, also, what I think try to throw me off with the BR1 regulated, and then something that Sid said in passing. It was just like we were sitting there having a beer, and he said something like, would you like? I mean, similar to my name, my birth name, Mr. Philip John II. Take his, but I already said no in October 1978. I already said no, but like Sydney and I just like passing conversation, like, he came out of the bathroom, and, he said something about such. I'm like, yeah, like similar to, yeah, the same fucking thing. It's like, me and Mr. Corey Haim, the actor, before before he was deceased, we were walking out back, and I said something like, wow, this is like because like he's an actor, I'm like, this is like similar to but like aficionado, like a motion picture pun presentation setting, a drug deal. And he said, oh man, this, and it was kind of like, whoa, I mean, we were just, I went, I sold him the one of the rings for his like girlfriend at the time, and I don't think when that was. Me and Jonathan Englehart went there. It was near the like the non defunct airport, O'Hare. So my father's murder, then the theft of all the dollars, probably the dollars first, and then then the murder of my father, and then the theft of like we $4, and then the name change, and then, which didn't go through, and then another name change which did not go through because of the first name change also, and then all this shit that's happened since then. So the timeline aspect of with an F4, because like you got to be Anno Domini to have Lutheran solidification, like anchor, like say. That's why women cannot have any public aspect, because Anno Domini Lutheran, with the Holy Bible, the Quran, Hindu scriptures, women do not have public any such say with men, especially like more than a man publicly, especially Anno Domini. Anno Domini, man and woman are not not publicly equal. Privately, such and such, but not public, because that gets into other people's lives also. And all the reasonable aspect for like whoever initiated to change my name was not my father, not my mother, not me. And me did not agree to such in October 1978. October is the month, like the 10th month in the year 1978. I said no. And then they insisted that I was like, fuck you, like, I was 10 years old, so I was like, not, like such, but I was basically just saying, you're all unlawful, so I'm just gonna, ride this, and not even knowing about really the birth allocations, because like the same thing with like the inherit and the allocation from birth and life is the same thing if you get birthed into like a really wealthy family. For every animal, whether you come from like poor dirt, which for fuck ever, like kind of like which the self has gone through. Yet the every man and woman in the world with a hold off, and there's got to be something. I know there's something. Either there's something writ in Lutheran, and there's also something. I mean, such a whenever there's say anything about any such as constitution, that's we. Yet the aspect to guard over under sides, front and backs, the birth inherit allocation and life birth allocation inherit for an Anno Hindu woman was supposed to be really, really like like guarded. And again, like any aspect of man and woman whom is birthed, Anno Domini in either the Holy Bible, Anno Domini, the Quran, Anno Domini Hindu scriptures, receive dollars from Congress and clergy, three-tier all over the world. Yet that's what they went after. Yet with me, possibly because of my percentage, like muttonness, was first my father was murdered like around 67, 68, and then my mother in 2011. And yet the dollars, and then the two name changes. So the linear timeline for my birth and like all the insistent external accusatory infringements have really added up, but they haven't gone anywhere. It's like they're just spinning their own fucking wheels. Like, they're not even taking the fucking dollars and like having fun with such. They're just they're basically just like throwing such in people's faces, which So like again like my father, then my birth and life inherit allocations, and then the name change, the infringement for us to whoever the fuck did in 1978, the 10th month, and then the other one like the passing fancy fucking thing. Like, yeah, I didn't agree to such then, but like but we only spoke, we only had like one like speech sentence, like he said such. I'm like, yeah, like what are you talking about, And then that was the only time we ever fucking talked about such. And then also went through like all the fucking like books and like archives and all that shit publicly, yet privately, and publicly also, we have never changed. Changed it. You can't fucking change your name. Only a married woman can change her name, but like a man does not ever change his name. And once a woman has a maiden name, like a birth and life name, and then a married name. So in a timeline aspect of like reviewing all this such, like springtime, 5th month of 1986, when I graduated from high school on time. That I was 18 years old, from like a natural 18-year-old, graduated from high school, and then like December 26, 1992, I graduated from Valpo University, Crusaders in Porter County, Indiana, the 50 contiguous. It's like Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, Alaska, Florida, Hawaii, Louisiana, California. And then like B2Is like, Canada, Mexico, and, Australia, Botswana, Argentina, Iceland, Germany. So like, the aspect of through and through the timeline and all this, solidifies also for this name change and aspect of court case bring, and then there's also like all my copyrights and all my ideas that have been like stolen from the same name change aspect, with somebody maybe using an S and an L, like an extra L, like one less L and one more S, like Philips, and then like flashing a one L like Philip John 2 or some shit. It's it's fucking. I still remember a lot of my classmates in like 1st to 5th grade, especially 6th grade somewhat, and then like 7th to 12th grade. I went to like one high school, one public high school, one public like junior high, like 7th, 8th grade. Another one in Skokie Town, like in 2 different counties, and then one like elementary school. Wait.